welcome to TT Miniatures. We are lucky because we've got Dan of Wargames Illustrated with us today. We are at Salute, and hi Dan, lovely to see you again.
Hello, hi.
And first question is, how did you get into wargaming, and how did you get into becoming the editor, the big dog of Wargames Illustrated?
So I got into wargaming via quite a standard Nottingham route because I worked for Games Workshop when it was Citadel Miniatures. That was in the late 80s, so that got me into it in the first place. I was just a local lad. I lived near their factory in Eastwood. And then later on in life I got into doing graphic design, and via graphic design I got the job of doing the graphic design work on Wargames Illustrated magazine for the previous owner and the founder, Duncan McFarlane. And then the magazine was bought by Battlefield Miniatures, the people who own Flames of War. And I said to Battlefield Miniatures one day, if you ever want to sell the magazine, can you give me first refusal? And they said, okay. Yes, all right then. And about 4 months later, I'd actually bought it from them. So that was in 2015. So I bought Wargames Illustrated off them in 2015, and I'm now the owner, but mainly the editor of the magazine as well. And there's several of us, those people over there. They all work.
Hello, ladies. Hello.
And that man down there.
Hello.
It's getting a bit quiet now. We're towards the end of the show, so it wasn't quite down. It's been quite busy.
I mean, it was rammed earlier, and yeah. I've picked up a whole bag of back issues.
All right, good.
And even some with, I mean, I never go out as Smiths without one I haven't got, and sometimes I go out with a whole armful that have, particularly they got miniatures on.
Good.
I feel guilty, but you know, it's you know, you snooze, you lose with Wargames Illustrated.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, Wargames Illustrated was one of the sort of earliest Wargames magazines I was aware of, and my brother bought one before me, the Sneaky Git, but it's now in my collection. So
yeah, well, we've been going since 1987, so it's a very well-established magazine. The founder of it, Duncan, he actually ran Miniature Wargames magazine before Wargames Illustrated, so he was in it even a few years before that. But yeah, we're still going strong after all these years.
I've got to admit, it was your magazine that got me into military wargaming.
Right, yeah.
And because I'd sort of circled around it like a dog around a suspicious biscuit for quite some time. But then as soon as this Flames of War NAM came out, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, and I went, and then the guys at Beasts of War now on tabletop.com produced NAM Week, and you got Warren talking about that, and I was flicking through the magazine pages, and I just saw the NAM stuff, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have this.
Yeah.
And
yeah, well, we still, historical wargaming is still very much the core of what we do. It's not only what we do, we also do fantasy and sci-fi as well, but I see that very much as just another period, really, just in the same way that we do English Civil War, American Civil War, we do fantasy. But historical is definitely, you know, our core, really.
It's interesting because, I mean, looking through the back issues, it's going back in time and just sort of going into reverse, seeing the miniatures and the games that were popular at the certain time and the whole development. And you've got I mean, for a long time it was Games Workshop that dominated by such a degree. I know it still does. You know, I think it's got 3.2 billion stock price. John Stallard told me, but it's, you know, it's just huge.
Yeah, well, they do their own thing, and we don't. We ignore them. Well, not out of malice, but just
oh, I was hoping you're going to go somewhere with malice there.
No, they're just a completely different sphere, really. They're so far above everything else, and they've got their own magazine. They do their own thing really well, and they don't need to be featured in Wargames Illustrated. So we concentrate on anything else.
Well, I've got to admit, I have to say these days, that's the bits I'm interested in, because before I jumped to you know, Flames of War NAM, then Bolt Action, I was playing Lord of the Rings strategy battle game as was, but I was looking for a way out, and Wargames Illustrated and Battlefront Miniatures gave me that way out, and I've never looked back. So happy that I've done that, I have to say.
That's good, I'm glad to hear it, yeah, I'm glad we gave you a way out.
but also, I love having the magazines to flick through, particularly weirdly enough, quite often Saturday afternoon slightly hungover from the Friday, trying to get myself motivated to get a sort of nipping out to the pub or whatever miniature painting done. And thanks for running such a fantastic magazine.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
I am a regular, and it's wonderful to see it in good hands, and long may it last.
Definitely, yes.